of the Communications and Marketing Workshop for Chapters from DKG, Illinois. I will first preface by saying that this will be a shortened version with the basics. If you are interested in all the bells and whistles that Google offers, and there are many, I did a workshop on this back in the fall of 23, and which seems like just yesterday, but it was several months ago. So if you want to see all of that, please look at our Facebook page and find that form or that video for much more information. Today, we're going to just take a look at the basics that you might want to do for your chapters. So we're going to make fill in the blanks, a checkbox list, a radio button list, and possibly a drop down. Preview the form as it's finished, share, how do you share it with responders, and then how do you see the responses that come in via the people that have filled it out. So that's where we're going to start. This handout is available, and you can find it with the link provided here. It will take you to this folder. There, both the handouts for the Word form and the Google form are there. And these are the two forms that I'm going to start with today. I'm going to start with this Google form. I have the typing already started. It really isn't that useful, and you'll see why, but I didn't want to have you to have to sit and wait while I type stuff in. So I basically made it so I can copy and paste. So you will have a link to these items from where you got the video. And then it just gives you a handout to follow if you ever want to just have it so that you can look things up if you forget what I'm telling you. Okay. So going back to the handout, you will see that after we get through this first page, on page 2, it starts out by telling you that you must have a Google account to make a Google form. Someone who's completing the Google form you've made does not need an account. So that's the difference. But if you're making the form, then you'll have to have a Google account. So the way we get there is if you're on the email page, up in the corner, there's this little 9x9, 3x3 array, 9 dots. We sometimes call it the waffle. And that's one way to do it, is to click the waffle, click on Drive. You could also drop down in that list and find Form. I probably won't refer to this handout much more. You can look at it for yourself. There are pictures that go along with what I'm doing, but I just wanted you to see how that works. Okay, so I'm going to go back to my Google Drive, which is here. You'll notice here's the waffle. And I could either go here and I could scroll all the way down to somewhere. It has Google Form. Must have missed. Maybe not. Evidently have it in my waffle. You can add it to your waffle, and I evidently did not. So I apologize for that. But that's okay, because the other way to get there is to go to New and go down in that list to Google Forms, which if you're looking, you can see it's right here on the left side. I would click that and it would open up. I've already done that. And so here it is. Now you will notice that this is what I typed in advance so that you don't have to watch me type. But we're going to start here and make this into a form. And so actually what I have to do, because this isn't a form, this is just a Word doc, I need to copy all of this. So I'm going to highlight it. I'm going to right click and copy. And now I'm going to go back here to this, and I'm going to go to forms. I'm just going to, I just want a Google form. Let me get out of it. All right. So I don't want to share it. I just want to have a form. I forgot that I'm in that folder. So I'm going to click Google Forms. Now I have a Google form. So as you can see, it comes up. And so we're just going to call this collecting member information. And you could put a description here if you would like. Tell us about yourself, something like that. That's up to you. You can make it bold, italic, underline, up to you. You can put in a numbered list or a drop down list. But this is up to you what you want to put in there. So our first step is to have a question, and they always give us one to start with. But we're going to click on it. You'll notice that when I'm not clicked on it, all you see is this. But once I click on it, there's a blue line along the left side that tells me this is the question I'm on. And this is short answer. So you go to the upper right corner and you click and you choose what kind of question you have. So I'm going to name and I'm done. Now I'm going to do several short answers. So I'm going to duplicate this question, only this time we're going to ask for street address. And I could have copied and pasted, but that's not too much to type. So now I have street address. I'm going to duplicate it again. This time we'll call it city. And next one, I'm just keep duplicating it, state. Now, in case you didn't notice where I clicked, down here is a trash can. If I wanted to throw away this question, I could hit the trash can. Notice it's gone. Right next to the trash can is a button called duplicate, and it's copy and paste in one step, so you don't have to copy or paste. You simply click it, and now you have a duplicate question, and I'm going to change it to state. And then finally, one more, zip. And I need to erase state out of there. And literally, we have that done. Now, maybe you want to add another question called chapter and delete that. And so now I have those answers. Okay. What's next? Well, what's next? Oh, by the way, let's say you'd like to see what this looks like. Up at the top, there is an eyeball. And when you click that, notice at my top, you're going to see this. I'm going to type in, I want my title. Notice when I clicked on that, it took what I had put as the title, and that's fine with me, collecting member information. But I want to see what this looks like. So I'm going to go up here and I'm going to click preview. Now it's not going to open in this tab. It's going to open in its own tab. So as soon as I click preview, notice now I have two tabs. This is the one where I'm working, and this is the preview of what it's going to look like. Now, purple is not necessarily our color, so I could go to the palette, and I could go down here, and I could click red. And so now you do have some options. You could add a picture. The problem with inserting a picture, by the way, notice I can also choose the text font. They call it Roboto, whatever it is. The heading is in 24. The questions are in 12. If you'd like them to be larger, you can change that here as well. And you can add an image. So if I had an image I wanted to add, I could do that. And of course, I could upload one. I could browse and go find wherever I have a copy of Linda Adcock's graphic for this biennium. I would do that. I have it somewhere. I could go get that and it would insert it. It inserts it as a separate box below the title. It's not part of the title, but you could put that in there. I just wanted to add that. All right, so now I have some information that I asked. So remember that I had this original form with some things I wanted to do. So now I want to have them pick their most favorite pie choice. So I'm going to highlight that on my document here, and I'm going to copy it. And then I'm going to go back to my form. I'm going to delete this preview because it doesn't update automatically. So the preview is the second tab. I'm going to delete that. If I want to preview it again, I can. All right, we're now ready to add a new question. And I could duplicate this and then change it, but instead I'm just going to add a question. And notice there it is, but I don't want multiple choice. I want a list of choices here under drop down. Let's do multiple choice. Okay, so My question is, please pick your most favorite pie. And so now, let's see how many of these I can remember and how fast I can type them. So my first choice is apple pie. My second choice is cherry pie. My third choice is rhubarb pie. And again, I could copy and paste those. What's another one? Pecan pie. And we'll stop there just in the interest of time. And I'm going to add other. And when I add other, it gives me a line. Now I'm not going to add any more. So I have other. Whoops. Why does it have other there? Let's delete that one. So notice out here to the side, I have delete. And by the way, you could add a picture of a pecan pie if you wanted to help them. But I have apple pie, cherry pie, rhubarb pie, pecan pie, and other. And I'm going to do the preview again so we can see what that question looked like. And there it is. And you will notice that we get a line next to other. Okay. By the way, I can pick cherry pie, but the minute I pick something else, you'll notice that it only lets me pick one. And that's a radio button. If I pick other, then apple pie goes off. So that's what's going on there. I could clear my selection so that it's blank. And that's a real useful tool if you're doing this at a meeting. You could bring this up. You could have one person fill it out and hit submit. And then you could clear the form and let the next person go and the next person go. And you could hit and submit, clear form, and you could have multiple people doing it at a meeting. Again, remember I told you the preview doesn't update. So if I do some more work, it's not going to show it. So I'm just going to delete my preview. So I'm back to my form itself. There's my multiple choice form. Okay. Now we're going to add a new question. And this one's going to be check boxes. And I'm going to use my question that I already have typed. So I'm going to change this question. I'm going to copy this just because most of it, the typing is going to be the same. But please identify your grade level by selecting the checkbox in front of your choices. Notice choices, up here it was choice. So this is going to allow for others. And so we're going to do pre-K. K through 3. And we're going to do 4 through 6, 7, 8. And we're going to do 12. And we're going to do junior college. And we're going to do university versus college. And last one, we're going to put in other. And the reason, I did it again. We're going to add other is that we want to know if maybe they teach Sunday school or something like that. And those are all options. So my question is in and done. Oh, by the way, I forgot to mention, we have a required box down here. And if I had checked that on the first one, it's requiring your name. It's required, then all of these I wouldn't have had to go through and do. But since I forgot to check required at the beginning, now I have to go through and do them all. And of course, we'll talk about one more thing when we get there. Here is this. This one will leave optional, and this one will make required. Okay. All right. So that is making blanks, making a list where 1 is the choice, making a list where 2 is the choice. And the last thing we're going to do today is we're going to add a question and we're going to do a drop-down list. Now, there are some other things you will notice in that list. You can make multiple choice grid, checkbox grid. If you're interested in any of that, then you should see the complete video about this. You can put the date in, and that might be useful so that you can keep track of when they filled it out and whether anything has changed in their life since. So we're going to do a drop down, and what, I had an idea now. I can't remember what it was. We were going to do that. I was going to do the pie one again and just show you how you would do that in a drop. So that's what we'll do. Now let's do this. Please identify your most favorite. So we'll do this one again. So we'll do it in a drop down. Please identify your most favorite subject by selecting the checkbox in front of your choices. Probably not something you would add. For example, back up here on this question, if someone teaches all grade levels or maybe pre-K through 6, they would check both of these. You could have another, and this would get it for you. What's your favorite subject? And so we could say music. We could say art. We could say math. We could say language arts. We could say foreign language. I heard this the other day. I don't know how you feel about it. I thought it might be quite a good idea to call it alternate language. It's up to you. I got to spell language right. There we go. History. This is why I don't like to type in front of you. Social studies, science, and of course, we could have computer. Um, it, um, okay, so there's my drop-down list. And let's say that this is required. Here's the problem. I have my directions says, please identify your most favorite subject by selecting from selecting from, whoops, the list. There'll be at least one person that has multiples, but we're going to leave it like that and done. Let's do preview so you can see what that one looks like. And there it is. And you have to choose. Okay. So you might say, well, we didn't ask for their email address. Well, there is a way to do that. And you can make that a requirement rather than adding a question. And so the place to do that is up here in settings. So you will notice that in settings, so I'm clicking at the top, question. Here's my questions that I've been editing. We'll come back to response and now settings. So when I go to settings, make this a quiz. No, it's not a quiz. Manage how responses are collected and protected. So right here, collect email address. And you could say, responder input means they would type in their address. I'll be honest, I would click verified in case they put in an address that isn't typed correctly, doesn't have all the right pieces, and it's not a verified address. But you can decide which one of those you want to choose. Send the responders a copy of their responses. If you'd like to do that, you change that when requested, means it will say, do you want a copy of your response? They say yes, then they will get one. If they don't say yes, then they won't get one. If you want it to be always, then you check always. And do you want to allow them to go back and change it after it's being submitted? I would suggest no, but that's up to you. And certainly you don't want people to be filling it out multiple times. So limit one response would probably be a good idea if you're collecting member information. There are some other things here that you might want to look at. Do you want to show a progress bar so they can see how far they are along, etc. Okay, So I'll let you play with those. And again, if you want more information about all of that, that's in the longer video and handout that from last fall. Okay. So now that we've done that, you will notice that up here, it says this form is automatically collecting emails from all respondents. And before it just had my email, but it didn't say that it was going to automatically collect those. So that's how you know that they're going to have to put in their email. And that means you don't have to have an email person down in here because it will collect them. So here you are with your form. And of course, I'm going to get rid of this preview. It won't do me any good because it doesn't update. I'm going to click it again. And you will notice it lets me switch account. So if I wanted a different email to be the one that is collected, then I could do that. Notice it says record this as the email to be included with my response. So I have that option to do that. But that was done on the form rather because I chose that option. So that's how you do this. And of course, the person filling it out would go in and type in their answers and so forth, right? So we're happy with that. We're done, okay? So I'm gonna go back to the form itself and I could send it here. Let's see what happens when I click. If I click send, it's like, what do you want to do? If you've got all your chapters names in a list, you could just enter the name of the list and it would come up. And there's the collecting member information and include form in an email. And so that's what that is. The form would be included. All they'd have to do is click on it and it's open for them. Another option, notice I have 3 choices. This is send an email. I'm going to click here and this gives me a link. You can copy that link or you can shorten the link. And that's what I would do. Shorten it, now copy it. Now you have it to paste into an email. And when they click the link, they will get that in an email, okay? And then the last one, and I have to do that again, is here to make an embedded link that could be placed on a web page or in an email. And you could say something like click here and you could embed this in under the word here and they would have it. So those are options for sending it. I like the middle one. Just make a short link and copy it and paste it into an email and just say click here to open this form and they've got it. Okay, so that's where we are. And now what happens? Well, I'm going to go, I can't open this form because I do want to copy that link so I can show you what happens, but I'm going to shorten it and copy it. Okay, so now I'm going to go down here to my Google Chrome and I'm going to right click on that and I'm going to open an incognito window so I can test this. An incognito window means it's not connected to my account. Even though it says Jean Tulin Gmail up here, it's not connected. So I can paste in that link and it takes me directly to the form. You must be signed in. Oh, I forgot about that. All right. So I'll sign in. So there it is. And it makes me sign in. Of course I can remember my password and I have no idea what it is. We'll try this one. And if it doesn't work, I'll just go back to the regular. I have no idea if this is it or not. Click, and if it lets me in, no, it's not. So forget that I did all of that. We'll just make a preview here and I will enter that. And I just want you to see how this shows up. So I'm going to just type in my, anywhere, street, and any city, Illinois. and my zip code, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and my chapter, proudly I will put Alpha Rho, and my favorite pie is other snow pie. You will notice how it goes on the line. It says identify all your grade levels. I taught 7, 8, and then 9, 12. I also taught junior college. And of course, I'm going to put, oh, I'll do that down below. Notice how I can check and uncheck. Now I'm going to choose my most favorite subject, and of course, that's math. And I'm going to submit. I do not want to save that address. No thanks. All right. So now that I have a submission, this is how you see what people have posted. You come back to the form in your Google Drive, okay? And when it opens in the question format, but you don't want to change anything. You've already put the form out there for people to see and to respond to. So you go to the second choice, responses, and here is who's responded. And you will notice that you only have one response, so it fills it up. You can also link it to a spreadsheet, which is my preferred, and you'll see why. Notice it says it's accepting responses, which is why I do not want to change the form in any way. I'm going to link it to Sheets, and it's asked me if I want to create a new spreadsheet, and the answer is yes. So I want you to see how this happens. Notice it's opening a spreadsheet, and there it is. It shows me I did this today at 12:49 p.m., my email address, and all of that, all listed. And every person then would show up in this list, and you can see them all. Obviously, some of these columns are a bit wide. And so if you want to try to get it all on one page, you can. Certainly, that's your choice. But notice, please, what I did there. One option is to I wanted to make that row. Oh, it's up here. I forgot where it is. I want to make that word wrap. Oh, there it is, right there, text wrap. And I want it to wrap. So you will notice I chose this one right here. And if you put your cursor over it, it says text wrapping. I only picked the first row because that's the only row that I want to have it wrapped so that I can see my questions. And then, of course, the other thing you might want to do with that, notice how I'm doing this. I think it's here. I want to freeze. Let's see where I am. I want to freeze up to row 1. So what happens is if you freeze that, now when you get people all the way down here, let's pretend, notice what happens. If I wanted to see line 50 and you've got that many members, now that first row is frozen. So now you can see what are those items. And of course, you can make labels from this. Little plug, see my video on how to make labels out of this, mailing labels, etc. So that's how you view. Now I want to get out of this and just show you how it keeps coming back. There is my responses are recorded, and I'm going to get out of this and close it. Now you realize this is going to make me realize I have to figure out where I put this. So let's see if I can find this form. Right there, untitled form. It didn't put the title in. Oh, interesting. All right, let's see. I believe there it is, collecting member information. So let's say that it's been 2 weeks and you sent out the form, you want to see if anybody has done it. You come back here to your to your Google Drive where you collected it. You open it by double clicking. Up here at the top, we're not changing questions, it's being sent out, but I click on responses and it will tell you how many responses you've received. If you've only got 10 and you have 30 members, then you need to send out an email saying, hey, I need you to fill out this form, and you could send them the link a second time. And of course, view in Sheets, you can do that as well. So that is the summation of how you make a form. and you get it out to your members? And then how do you see it from several weeks later when you want to go back and look? It collects. Now, as you can see, if you sat through both the Word and the Google presentation, this idea of collecting the information in a spreadsheet, notice there it is right there. I could also just have clicked there to see what I had. That really saves a lot of time by getting all that information into a spreadsheet. Whereas if you do it in Word, you have to transfer that information if you want to put it in a spreadsheet or put it somewhere else. So that's really the difference. Google does offer this nice way to collect data. Okay, so I hope you got something from this. Don't hesitate to use my email if you have a question. I'm happy to share whenever I can. And I'm going to share now, stop sharing. I wish you well. Don't hesitate to ask questions. We're here to serve.